Morning all. On behalf of the PSG College of Technology, Department of Information Technology and IT Alumni Association, I welcome all of you for the webinar series titled Entrepreneurship and Startups, especially for second year BTech IT students, handled by Mr. Vishwanathan Mahalingam, our alumni 2005 batch. It's my great pleasure to welcome Mr. Vishwanathan Mahalingam for the today's session. I request him to handle the session. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Hello, everyone. Good morning. It's nice to meet all of you again. So let's start. So today I'm going to talk about startups and entrepreneurship. Since you all know me earlier, I will skip this slide. So let's go over the agenda today. I'm going to first talk about old world versus new world, which is what is the difference between a traditional company versus the new set of companies, right? Then what does it mean to work at a startup? What does it mean to work starting a startup? And then we will reserve time at the end for question and answers. As usual, you have a link at the top of the presentation, so you can post your questions there. We will collect the questions and we'll answer your questions towards the end. Okay. So first thing I want to tell a personal story, right? So I want to talk about sugar industry and shipping industry. So my father is a mechanical engineer. He works as a general manager in a sugar factory. He's still he's around 68. He's still working in a sugar factory located in the border between Maharashtra and northern Karnataka in a place called Bagalkot. And for most part of his career, he was a chief engineer at government sugar factories Prior. So before the IT boom, right, around 40 years earlier, the highest paid job then was marine engineering jobs, right? Being a marine engineer and going in ship. So my father originally wanted to become a marine engineer, but my grandfather didn't allow. He thought marine engineering jobs were risky. So my father, after finishing his mechanical engineering, he settled for the sugar industry job. Since he wanted to become marine engineer as a marine engineer, he made my brother as a marine engineer. So my elder brother, he's a marine engineer. He works in a company called Bernard Schulte Shipping Management Company. So BSM is one of the largest shipping management company in the world. So what they do is they lease ships from the owners, and then they manage it. So my brother is a chief engineer in one of the ships, and his recent ship he worked in a ship where they transported iron ore from Australia to China. So he works for 6 to 8 months in a ship, and then he stays in home for rest of the 3-4 months whatever is left over. So having talked about my father and brother, there's a key difference here. So even though you are chief engineers and general managers in sugar factories and ship, you do not get a pie in the company, right? So you always get salary, you always get paid bonus. Even if you work throughout your lifetime, you do not get equity or shares in these companies, right? And also not only shares. To start actually a sugar factory or to buy a ship, you need hundreds of crores, right? You need a lot of money. So forget about owning a sugar factory or owning a ship, even if you work for your entire lifetime, right? So this is the key problems in these old industries. So let's go over a little bit in detail. So first thing, I mentioned, is you will work as an employee for your lifetime, right? There is no concept of stocks. There is no concept of owning a small piece of your company, right? So traditional companies don't do that. The second reason is these industries are highly regulated industries. So what do we mean by highly regulated? So take Indian sugar industry for an example, right? So these industries are highly regulated by the government of India, Tamil Nadu government, and the different state governments. For example, the input price in a sugar cane, right? How much do you pay for the farmers per 1,000 kgs of sugar cane, right? A ton of sugar cane. So that's determined by government. The output like which is sugar, that's again controlled by like government. Government sets the price, and then government again like releases like the monthly quota of like how much sugar can you release outside. Similarly, like the byproducts, like sugar industry produces like a lot of byproducts. For example, like ethanol, which forms the basis like for alcohol, right? Again, government controls the price of like ethanol. Power is like generated like in the sugar factories, like so. Like electricity is generated by the sugar factories, but again, Tamil Nadu Electricity Board or like the respective state government electricity boards buy like those power. Of course, there are like some private players there, but predominantly like the power again, the price again for the power is set by government. So if you take like shipping existed like for centuries, right? So like even the promotions there are set by like government. For example, my brother, like I said, he was working as a chief engineer. Chief engineer is like a level 5 engineer in a ship. You have like 4 levels like below a chief engineer. So you start at the lowest level, you sail for like certain months, then you have to like go to Calcutta or like Mumbai or like Chennai. There are like central government institutes there. You have to write an exam. You have to like pass a oral exam. Then only you'll get promoted to the next level, irrespective of whichever company like you work for. So again, he has to sail like for certain months, go write the exams for a few months. Then again, you have like rinse, repeat. That's how you get promoted. So even the promotions there are like controlled by government. And there is a high entry barrier to like kind of either start a company in these like traditional industries. Like you mentioned, like you need a lot of money. So traditionally, the mills were like owned by like industrialists, like were industrialists like for generations. Like more recently, like politicians like own these sugar factories, because you need a license to like operate. You need land. You need lots of like money to actually like operate these. So this not only applies to sugar and like ship, probably this applies to banking, oil, and like a lot of traditional industries. Many of your family members might be working as a bank. So it's not easy to just go and like start a bank on your own, right? So in general, I consider these as the traits of like a sugar of like a traditional industry. So if I summarize in one way, any company which doesn't give equity, I consider them as like a traditional industry. Any company which gives like equity, which like gives you like a small part of the piece of the company to like own, that's like a company which belongs to the new world. I consider, so they need not be like startups, but they are like companies which belong to the new world. Okay, so now let's just like let me just like jump onto the working at startup like section. So let me again tell a personal story, right? Startup at Saidapete. So right after I graduated like from PhD Tech, I worked in Infosys like for 6 months. So the time like the job, like what the team I worked in Infosys. So what we did was we maintained payroll for like a big US retail giant called JCPenney. So payroll is like you maintain like the monthly salary like statements, and you automate like you create like the salary reports for the employees and so on. So that was a job, and the technology I was assigned to work on was like mainframes, right? Like all of you know, mainframes was like a 50-year-old technology, so I was not happy to work on like mainframes. So I was reaching out to like many of my friends saying that, hey, like I'm not happy with my job. I am looking for like a change. Let me know if you have like opening in your company or like whatnot, right? So few months like later, I got a call like from one of my like ECE department batchmate. So he called and said, hey, like tomorrow, like that on a Saturday he called. So tomorrow there is a IIT alumni who's coming to like Saidapet. He's coming from Bangalore to Chennai. So he has like some business ideas, and there are like a couple of our other like batchmates who are going and like meeting this person. So it will be great if you could also go. So I gathered like a couple of my friends. So in Chennai heat on like a summer time, like we went on a Sunday like afternoon, going on a crowded bus and like waited inside the like train station, right? So they then that person like came. He was actually like from IIT, like from one of these like IITs. So we went to somebody's like home inside the pit, like they gave us like rasna, they gave us like cashew nuts and like whatnot. But there was like something like missing there. Then turns out after like 30 minutes or like 40 minutes of like giving a lecture, he said like that the reason like he called us, like all of us, is like to talk about Amway, right? Like a multi-level marketing like business. So it's got like nothing to do with technology, and turns out it's just like an Amway like meeting. Of course, like I got super mad at that, like I called my friend and said like, dude, I'm breaking up with you. Like, don't ever call me again, like for wasting my time. So the key thing I want to like say is not every business, not every company like started is like a startup. So I would even go a step ahead and like say not every like so thousands of companies are getting created like in a year around the world, right? So people like open restaurants, like people open like hotels, like people open retail stores, barbershops, and like whatnot. But opening a restaurant or like a barber shop is not equal to like a startup. So in some way, like the startup has to grow. Like if you put like a simple definition on like a startup, it has the potential. It should have like the potential to like scale really like fast, and it has like grown like super fast. So in another way, if you are like starting something, or if somebody else is starting and like you are going to work on there should be like a clear, or at least you should have like a clear idea that the seed which we are like planting will grow into like a banyan tree and like not like a bean plant, right? Like, so there is a difference between like a banyan seedling and like a bean sprout. So you should have like a clear idea of, or you should be at least convinced yourself that the seed you are planting will grow into like a banyan tree rather than like a bean sprout. So like I mentioned, a critical aspect of like a startup is actually growth. How fast do you grow? Like what is the rate at which do you grow? What is the market segment like you are trying to like address? So those are the key aspects of a startup. Again, let me tell my experience in working at a startup like RightSell. So RightSell was like founded by two Georgia Tech like graduate students, Arun Kumar Ilangovan and like Arjav Trivedi. Arjav Trivedi was the CEO and Arun Kumar Ilangovan was the CTO. So while I was studying in Georgia Tech like from 2008 to 2010, and prior to that, like also Georgia Tech had a safety shuttle service, which is if you stay on the campus and after 6 o'clock, you can call like a number. They will like, and then you can request that, hey, like I need to go from library to dorm, or I'm going like from computer science building to my like home. There'll be a shared van, so they will come and pick you up and drop off. That service entirely was a manual service. Students have to call, and there'll be a person who's like a manual dispatcher who will take the call. And each of these drivers had a radio phone. So the manual dispatcher has to mentally calculate who will be the best driver to come and pick you up. So then they will they will call the driver in the radio and say, hey, like there's a student waiting here, go and pick them up. This was like okay during normal days. But during rainy days and let's say like the football game days, right? Like when football game days are like really big in the universities, like where like a lot of people will like come to watch those games. So during those 2 days, there'll be like a lot of crowd and people will call like these the free safety shuttle service like a lot. So either they have to hire like additional dispatchers just to handle like the volume of calls, or they have to say, hey, like sorry, the service is like not running like for the day. So the first thing, like Arun and Arjav, along with my roommate Venkat, who worked as an intern in like RightSell at that time, they built a voice-based automated like dispatch system. That is like there'll be an automated like your students just still like call the phone number, same phone number. It'll automatically say, hey, like type LIB for library, type CSB for like CS building, and like so on. So Android tablets just came then. This was in 2009 timeframe. So we gave like the Android tablets to all the drivers, and then the system will like automatically route your ride to the appropriate driver. So using this, you just need one dispatcher to like monitor the entire system, and like the system will like auto scale. So personally, I thought, okay, this is a cool project. I knew the founders because my roommate was like working as an intern there at RightSell. I thought this was a college project, and I graduated like in 2010. I had 2 offers like with me. I had like one in like I got offer like from Qualcomm to work in San Diego, and I had like one more offer like from Cisco in Bay Area. So my mentor at Georgia Tech, he recommended that I choose like Cisco, even though the cost of living in San Diego is like less, and I had a better pay at like San Diego, like Qualcomm. My mentor like suggested that like I go and choose Cisco because Bay Area has like many other like companies, like the startups. There are like many startups. So in future, I might get like an opportunity. So I took that and like joined Cisco, and I was working for Cisco for 2 years, like from 2010 to 2012 timeframe. But during like those timeframe, Arun and Arjav like pretty much it was only like 2 founders with few interns like from Georgia Tech, who are actually like coding, who are doing like the front end and like so on. Arun and Arjav like sold the same like dispatch software to 10 other universities: Alabama, UC Berkeley, Clemson, like Duke, all across the US. So like Arjav was like the salesperson, he was a CEO and salesperson, and Arun was like the technical like lead. And he was managing like a team of interns with the university, and they were like already making a profit at that time. Then they wanted to expand, so they joined like Y Combinator. Y Combinator is like a well-known seed fund, like angel investors, like in Bay Area. Like you can go read about them in ycombinator.com, and they also run the Hacker News site. So the idea then was, hey, like if we could run a campus-like service, why not launch our own ride-sharing service like in a city, right? Like so they had already experience in like running a campus service like for 2 years. And then they gave me a call saying that, hey, like, okay, we joined like YC, now we raised a seed round. We have like $few million, like we could like pay and afford like more engineers. Do you want to come and like join? So personally, like my job at like Cisco was like good. I liked what I was doing. But like I was seeing that I didn't see like a next career growth for me at like Cisco. So even though I worked in India like in Cisco like for almost 2.5 years before that, then I did masters, then I worked for Cisco in 2 years in different teams. I didn't see an opportunity for me to become like a manager or like a technical architect at like Cisco at that time. So and also I was super impressed with what Arun and Arjav like did, and what I thought was a college project becoming like a real company like product. So I joined like RideSell. So that time we launched a product which was targeting like taxis. So similar to like what we did in universities, we rolled out an app so people can like download and sign up for it with your credit card, and you press like a button, you'll get a taxi. We were trying to like work with taxi business. So during the same time, like many other like startups were launching in the same space. Of course, you all like know Uber and Lyft. They were like the 2 big ones. They started like a year or 2 years like at the like before us when we launched in like city, but they didn't serve the taxi market. So we wanted to like actually serve the taxi market. In the peak time, like we had around 2,000 like drivers and like close to 50,000 like customers. But we had like some like problems, right? So first is our pricing is tied to like the taxi like meter pricing. Like Uber and Lyft, they raised 1,000 times like more money than us. So and they also were engaging private drivers. There was a slight legal like dilemma at the time whether we can engage private drivers or like whether you should like just like launch only with licensed taxi drivers, right? But like Uber and Lyft took that bite. Like they had like a head start, and they raised like 1,000 times like more money than us. So it was pretty clear to us that our service like will not scale at that point of time. So in 2014, we were at a point of time where we had to decide, we had to take a call. Like if we need more money, like we need to like raise like a lot more money to sustain the ride sharing service we were running in San Francisco City. So when I joined in 2012, I joined as a second engineering hire. So we were at the time we were like totally 5 people like in the company. Around 2014, 2 years later, we expanded and like we grew to like 25 people like in the company. But because 2014 we were not sure like what to do, we decided to like pivot. We said, okay, hey, like we are good in providing a B2B service, a business to business service, like not a business to consumer like service like very well. So we decided to like pivot, and that didn't go well with many of our like existing like employees. People thought like who were working with us, like they thought like we will grow like the ride sharing service like we launched will grow like really like big. So many of them quit. We went from 25 people to like 10 people like company. So in 2014, like we were in a state where we were not sure what to do next. We were still like running our campus like services, but the money we were making out of the campus services were relatively like low, right? So personally, I and few other early engineers like in the company, like we we spoke with Arun and Ajay, and we said, okay, hey, like we will stay for a year more. Okay, I'll spend a year more. It's okay. We will fail. It's startups like are bound to fail. Let's try like some other idea. If something works, then I'll stay around. Otherwise, like I'll look for like some other job at like some other company. So we worked with a couple of agencies like during a couple of projects during that time. So one was like with public transit agency in Bay Area, and another was like with a company called like First Transit in Seattle. So like we ran out, like we showed some proof of concept pilots, but none of them like actually like worked. So 6 months into it, I was like, okay, I don't know what like where it is like heading to, but okay, 6 more months. Let me stick around. Something will like turn out. So turned out that Google found us at like through some like conference, and then they like the Google campus in like Mountain View. They had like a lot of buildings, and employees like going from one building to the other. They were still like following the same manual process like what Georgia Tech was like doing. People used to call like a admin or like a secretary like in their office, and then the secretary or admin will like schedule, and a shuttle service will like pick up. So we pivoted and we launched like a same dispatch software like for like Google. So personally, I thought, okay, if a company of size like Google needs like a software like from a small company like RightCell, then we are building like something good. We are building like something right. There is a market for it. People like actually need like the software what we are building, and also like we started to expand like from there. Couple of years like later, like we started to work with car manufacturers. So we were rolling out car sharing services, like which is similar to like Zoom Car in India. Like so, anyone who has like a fleet who wants to like run a service like Zoom Car, they can use like our software. And anyone who wants to like run a small ride sharing service, a small like Uber or like Lyft kind of service within a smaller geography, they can use our software. And we mainly provided software, whereas the fleet and the drivers and everything were like provided by our customers. So after that, like we were like really growing well. We opened offices like in Pune. We have around like 50 people in Pune, and now we were overall like 200 people like in the company. Recently, COVID is like throwing a challenge like to us, similar to like everyone across the industry. Like the mobility space is like undergoing like a change. But I'm hopeful like we are trying out like few things, and I'm hopeful that like we will come out of it well. So based on this, I worked in a company of Infosys like for 6 months, which was like a large service company. I worked in Cisco, which was like a large product organization, and then like I'm currently working in like a startup for the last 8 years. So based on this, I have some suggestions. So there are like pros and cons in each of these like places, right? So in a large corporate, here the large corporate I'm talking about is like big product company like Amazon, like Facebook, like the FAANG companies, as well as like PayPal, like Salesforce, which are like one of these like big corporates. So what they have is like they provide you a stability, right? Usually like in a startup, like you have ups and downs. There are like roller coaster like rides. But in large corporate companies, your job is like more or less like stable. And then financially, like you are like, I mean, contrary to popular like opinion, I would actually say working in like one of these like FAANG companies or like big companies, you'll be like financially like better, right? I mean, most of the times. Let me add like that. Like most of the times you'll be like financially better, and you'll be like less stressful. You'll have like all the structures in place. You'll have like a proper like marketing team, like people team, like sales team, and everything. In startup, most of these things like you're building, and you have to like build on the fly. The key advantage I would say like what a startup has like is like one, faster learning and like growth, right? So even at a failed startup, I would say you get like better growth. For example, I want to talk about like few of my colleagues who are with me like at RightCell. There was an early engineer. He actually like wanted to work in Apple, but he was not even getting an interview call like before that. But after like joining RightCell, after working for like a year or so, he got the brat of like Y Combinator startup at like RightCell. Then he moved on to like Apple. So another lead engineer who came from Microsoft, he was like a senior engineer like at Microsoft. When he joined like RightCell, like including me, like we were reporting to him. So after 2 years, when we decided to pivot, he moved on to his like next job as like an engineering manager. So the chance of him getting that like role in like large corporate company is like limited, because large corporate companies grow at a certain pace, and most of the times they get like qualified candidates like for like promotions and like whatnot. So if you are a senior engineer in a big company, the chance of getting promoted within that company is still there, but it is like relatively like less if you compare the fan companies, or you have to like wait for like their set roles, right? Like some of services company, they have for 3 years you'll be software engineer, next 3 years you'll get like senior software engineer, then next 3 years you'll be like lead engineer or like what. They have like set schedules, and you have like follow through that, which will take like a lot of time. And personally, like for me, had I stayed in like Cisco, I would have probably like been a first level manager, or I would have been like a technical lead at the max. So the advantages like what a startup provides is definitely like growth, faster growth in the career, and a huge like learning opportunity. Say in large corporate company, your job is like more or less like well defined, and you'll be doing that. In startup, like you have like scope to learn across like the board. Like depending on like how much ever you are interested in, you can like jump and like learn across the board. So just want to like clearly state what I mean by financially better for a large corporate company is I'm comparing Amazon versus like Uber. Many of my friends who worked in Amazon, few years back, they got offered like Uber, and they switched to Uber. Like Uber is going through like a phase right now. So just want to like state that had they stayed in like Amazon during that time, they would have been like financially better at like given the valuations like currently. So that's why I want to like say what do you mean by like financially better. And I'm not talking about like any service like company here. This only applies to a large product company like PayPal, Salesforce, Amazon, and like so on, compared to like an upcoming like startup. Okay, so let's go to starting a startup. Okay, so if you see the graph, like if you see the map here, you all know Vasco da Gama, right? Vasco da Gama like reached India in like 1498. So this map shows like the Portuguese like explorers like around the world. So most of us knew that like just the name of Vasco da Gama, that he reached India in like 1498, right? But actually it took 100 years. For 100 years, like Europeans and like especially Portuguese were constantly looking out like for a sea route to reach India, right? So it took like 3 generations of like kings, 3 generations of like seafarers to find a route to Vasco da Gama. It's not like Vasco da Gama suddenly just like opened his like eyes like from sleep one day and then just said like, okay, I'm going to go there. For example, Vasco da Gama reached India in like 1498, but there was this like person called like Prince Henry the Navigator. So he was like a key person who was launching these sea adventurers, right? So there was this person called Alvaro Fernandez. He was a seafarer. He reached around this like Sierra Leone area, like this part of like Africa, near like Guinea and like Sierra Leone area, like in 1446. Then around 40 years later, it took them time to like discover like the wind patterns and everything to reach Diogo Cam. Like, so there was a person called Diogo Cam who reached Congo in 1482. There was this person called like Bartolomeu Dias. So he was the first Portuguese explorer and like first European to even like head into the Indian Ocean. So he was the first one who crossed South Africa and like the Cape of Good Hope. So it took actually Vasco da Gama 15 more years to reach to India. But if you see here, there is like a huge like seafarers, and like there were continuously kings who were supporting this adventure. Almost they were like advancing 1 degree latitude like south of Europe for every year. And of course, you all know that Christopher Columbus like found or he reached the Americas like while trying to like find a route to India. So while Vasco da Gama reached India in 1498, Christopher like Columbus like reached the Americas like 6 years like earlier. And even like another person reached Brazil, and like they found a route to like Brazil while trying to like found a route to India. So the key thing I want to like state again is the ecosystem, right? Like this is the same topic I talked during our like last call. That to start something like a startup like which should like scale, you need all the appropriate like ecosystems, right? So now let's look at starting a startup. So here I want to talk about a company called Creo.do, which was which is a startup like founded by two alumni of PSG Tech, who are my like friends, and they all graduated in 2005 batch from computer science department. So the CEO, like the co-founder was like Ratnamurthy. Sorry, like it was Raiko. His name was like Ratnamurthy Ratnasamy, and the other person was like Sridhar Jayachandran. So to state, like before they started like Creo, right? Ratnamurthy actually worked in like Flipkart for 6 years. So he graduated in like 2005 from PSG Tech. He worked in like companies like Novell and like Ernst Young. Then he did his like MBA in SP Jain. So after graduating like from his MBA in 2011, he went and like joined Flipkart as like an early like product manager. So he worked in like Flipkart for 6 years. Like he grew through the ranks and he became like a director of like product management there. In the meanwhile, like Sridhar, who was also my like high school mate, so he graduated like from PSG Tech in 2005 CS department. So he worked in India like for a few years in like Mindtree and Viveo networks, like Viveo. Then he came to masters like in the US. So he worked at he joined like USC. Then he worked at NetApp and like he was like an engineer at like Google, senior engineer at Google. He was working in like Google Plus. Then like later, like Sridhar returned back to India. Like Sridhar and Ratnamurthy, they found Creo.do. Creo actually like helps college students like you to understand like the latest technologies and so go and check out their website, right? But the thing I want to insist is actually Ratna like worked in Flipkart, and like actually Binny Bansal invested like $1 million in or along with like other investors, they invested like close to $1 million in like Creo.do. And like Binny and Sachin, like they worked in Amazon previously, as you all know, and Flipkart was acquired by like Walmart. So the $16 billion like what Walmart invested in like Flipkart gave the money to Sachin, like Sachin and like Binny Bansal, so they can further like create additional startups. They can invest in like startups, and people like, who worked in like Flipkart, they can like go out and create like more companies. So a startup ecosystem, since I talked about RightCell, that's why I'm not like going over RightCell here. I'm talking about the ecosystem at Bangalore. So Bangalore has this ecosystem like now. When I graduated in 2005, like we didn't have that, but like now Bangalore has that ecosystem. So if I have to give an analogy, the venture capitalists who fund your like startup, they are more like the kings who funded the expedition, right? Then you need like the technical architects, people like who run the business, people like the lawyers and like everybody. They are more or like the seafarers who are willing to like risk their like career and willing to like take a ride. And you also need prior successful exits. So there is like a market segment. People know like what it takes to like how much like they can invest. Like there are like so many of these like features. So I'm just like insisting that Bangalore has that like ecosystem. Chennai is slowly getting that ecosystem. Like hopefully like Freshdesk will go for like an IPO sooner. We also have like Zoho, whose founder Sridhar Vembu I have like a great respect for, and he has like a different idea of he doesn't have like IPO plans and like that. But like Chennai is getting that ecosystem like slowly. Bangalore already has. Chennai is like getting there like slowly. The other thing I want to like say was like when Sridhar was working in like Google. He worked in like Google Plus division. So when we were talking like, so he used to say that, hey, like, I understand like why Facebook is like better than like Google. We have like ideas, but like probably like my managers are like leads at like Google. I'm not sure if they collect these ideas or like whatnot. So while discussing, we were saying that the key thing there, even if it is like Google or like Microsoft or like Facebook, by the time you join, they already have grown into like a multi-billion like company. They have already been like a $100 billion, $200 billion like company. So they are hiring you as an employee. As much as all these like big companies like say that, hey, yes, you can share your ideas and like whatnot, they're hiring you as like an employee, and then they want you to like do the work they assign you. So if you actually want to like go out and try, if you want to like go and like run your own ideas and like whatnot, then you have to like start your startup, right? You have to like go run your own company, or like you have to like join like a very early employee like in a company where you have good so you also like are part of that company, like, and making that company like grow into a $1 billion like business. So but just want to like reiterate, you need an ecosystem, and in my view, Bangalore definitely has that ecosystem, and Chennai will have that ecosystem in the future. So now, how about Coimbatore, right? So Coimbatore actually has like a good ecosystem for MSMEs, right? Like medium and small scale like businesses. Coimbatore actually has like a very good ecosystem. And Coimbatore has like a entrepreneurial background, and like for many years, like for more than like a century, like there were cotton mills like being like spin. There are like good top educational institutes which were engineering institutes like in Coimbatore. For example, like the image like you are seeing on the left hand side, a friend shared like in a recent like WhatsApp group. So that was an advertisement like for wet grinder. So if you read like the title, they didn't even name it as like wet grinder like then. They were just calling it as like rice grinding stone. This was an advertisement clip from the 70s, right? So pretty much Coimbatore supplies most of like the wet grinder needs like across India and across the world. Similar to wet grinders, Coimbatore also has like pumps, water pumps, and like whatnot, right? So the second image you are seeing is like a water pump like from Sharp like motors. So Sharp Motors is like run by like Mrs. Mohana Sundari. She's like a woman entrepreneur. So good. The good thing about Coimbatore is like there were like many women entrepreneurs as well. So whenever you get time, go and like check out coimbatore.tai.org. So TAI is like another. TAI is called the Indus Entrepreneur Group. They help and guide in people to like launch like their companies. Then the image like you're seeing on the rightmost side, that's like Ampere. That's like a electric scooter which was like found by Hemalata Annamalai. She was like a graduate like from GCT from the Government College of like Technology. So like she found Ampere and Tata, like Ratan Tata and like few other big names, like they invested in like Ampere. And recently Greaves, a company called Greaves, like they acquired like Ampere. So irrespective of whether Ampere made like a lot of money out of that like deal or not, these are like really like good signs that like the startups like doesn't mean they need not be like only software, but Coimbatore has like an entrepreneur spirit, and like mostly the startups, it doesn't matter like which gender you are, right? Like so like you have to make profit, you have to like grow. Those are like the aspects. It doesn't matter like whether a male is starting or a female is starting. But what is like really great about this is like we have like a Coimbatore TAI chapter, which was completely run by like women entrepreneurs. So that was like amazing. This was like the first women entrepreneur TAI chapter like around the world. So they provide like guidance, they provide help. So I would say, if possible, like go and attend like their seminars, like webinars and like lectures, right? So usually if you have like manufacturing base, there is a chance that there could be like an software related startups which might come in like future. So when will it come? We don't know. Time will tell. So Coimbatore like needs definitely like a Flipkart kind of like company. So we don't know about that. But just looking at the background of Coimbatore, I definitely think in like another decade or like 2 decades, it will be there. Okay. So that more or less like concludes my talk on startups. So I have like a surprise for all of you, right? So after that surprise, we'll go to the Q&A. So the surprise is we have the surprise is like Venmurosa coding challenge, right? So Venmurosa is like one of the longest novel series like in the world. There are 26 novels as part of it. In print, it comes to around like 25,000 pages. It was written by an author called Jayamohan. He's a well-known like Tamil writer, and he has like spent the last 7 years in writing like Venmurosa. So every year, he's like posting Venmurosa in his like blog, and like if you consider like 7 years, like around for 365 days, like there'll be around 2,500 like blog entries. So you can look at the first blog post I had like given here. And for the coding challenge, I'm announcing like price money of like 10,000 rupees. So just want to like state, I'm not making like any money out of it. It is just like an open source like project. So the challenge here is, if you go to this website, you will see like the first page of the novel. and there'll be around 2,500 entries. So the challenge here is find and tell me like the 10 longest words in the novel out of this like 2,500 like blog entries. Parse those like website, then kind of like find and tell me like the longest 10 words. You can submit your code in github.com. If you're not familiar with github.com, go find out, learn about it. So what you need to submit is like your code and like the Word database, the entire like Word database, comma separated file. You can email me. You can email to visumrs like at gmail.com, my email address. And the deadline I'm setting is like it's a month from now, right? Like so, it's like a month. So the programming language and like framework, if you ask me, I would prefer like Python, but you can choose like any language, whichever you are familiar with. That could be Python, Django, like Ruby on Rails, like Java Springs, like C++, like whatever you are comfortable with, like Go, you can choose. The only constraint I have is like maximum limit your team size to like 3. And this is like open to everyone in PhD Tech. Since I belong to IT department, I just want like say at least you need one member like from IT department. And this is open to all branches like across all departments, right? So there are like few disclaimers I want to talk about. Please be considerate when like downloading or scraping the content. Like this entire content is available for free. The author and his like team of volunteers, they have like posted it like for free. And I am not making to make any money out of like this. Okay. So here many alumni, so I spoke about the last week talk, right, to some of the alumni. So they are interested to like mentor people. They are willing to like spend 30 minutes or an hour like every month. But for us to like, we need to understand where we stand, like what sort of like technical skills like we have at this time as a college as a whole, right? So it helps me to like understand. So that's why I'm like giving out this challenge, right? And the other thing is like this entire code will be like open source. It will be posted in open source like code along with the data, and there is like no monetary intent here. And the image on the right side you see is like the image like on the first chapter. So here this talks about like Manasa Devi, who is a queen of like the Naga clan. So she tells the story of Mahabharata to her son like Astiga. So Venmurasu is like a re-narration of like Mahabharata, retelling of like Mahabharata. So it's like very, very interesting and exciting novel. So if you like Bahubali or Game of Thrones, Venmurasu is like actually a much bigger scale. I personally consider the other two like as like pebbles compared to the mountain of Venmurasu. So yeah, like I stop here. I'm open to questions. Let's start with if you all have like any questions with the coding challenge, let's start with that. And then we can like go to the startups. You can post your questions on the link above or on the chat. Then I can like answer.